Imagine this scene. You're a distinguished Roman senator, one of the most respected men in the empire. Your family name goes back generations. Your toga bears the purple stripe of nobility, and you've spent decades serving Rome with honor. Tonight, you've received a golden invitation to dine with the emperor himself, an honor that should fill you with pride. But as you climb the marble steps of the Palatine Hill Palace, your stomach churns with dread. The guards at the entrance don't meet your eyes. They know what you're walking into, and their silence speaks volumes. The scent of expensive incense can't quite mask something else. Fear-thick and suffocating. You enter the great hall where dozens of Rome's elite are already gathered. Senators, their wives, wealthy merchants, military commanders, all standing in uncomfortable silence. Then you hear it, the sound of footsteps echoing through the corridor, accompanied by manic laughter that makes your blood freeze. Emperor Caligula enters, dressed in silk that shimmers like liquid gold, his eyes bright with an unsettling intensity. He surveys the room like a predator, studying prey, then claps his hands together with theatrical delight. "My dear friends," he announces, his voice echoing off the marble walls. "Tonight we shall discover who among you truly loves your emperor. Tonight we shall see just how far you'll go to prove your loyalty. What follows will shatter every boundary of Roman decency, turning the sacred halls of power into a stage for the emperor's darkest appetites. This is the story of how one man's madness corrupted an entire empire and how absolute power became absolute corruption. To understand how the most powerful man in the world could transform his palace into a den of depravity, you have to understand his origins. Born Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus in 12 CE, he earned his nickname Caligula, meaning little Butsasa, child, charming the legions. But childhood, for a member of the imperial family, was anything but innocent. By 7, Caligula witnessed his father's mysterious death. He watched his mother and brothers disappear into exile and death, victims of the paranoid machinations of imperial politics. Imagine knowing that at any moment the knock on your door might be your last. Caligula learned to survive through deception. When Tiberius died in 37 CE, the Roman people welcomed 24-year-old Caligula as emperor with genuine joy. He was the son of their beloved Germanicus. For 7 months, he seemed everything they hoped for. He recalled exiles and held spectacular games. The people loved him. But then, something changed. In late 37 CE, Caligula fell seriously ill with a brain fever. He hovered between life and death, while Rome held its breath. When he recovered, those closest to him noticed the change immediately. The young man who once showed restraint and wisdom was gone. The transformation wasn't immediately obvious to the public, but behind the closed doors of the palace, a much darker change was taking place. Caligula discovered the intoxicating realization that as emperor, he could do literally anything to anyone, and no one could stop him. Servants who had served for years suddenly found themselves subjected to the emperor's bizarre whims. Young male and female slaves were particularly vulnerable. These weren't consensual encounters. They were acts of pure dominance designed to reinforce Caligula's absolute power over everyone in his domain. The emperor's sexual appetites weren't limited to servants. He began inviting the wives of senators to private audiences. These women, raised in strict moral codes, found themselves trapped. Refusing the emperor's advances meant death for their entire families. He used sex as a weapon to destroy the Roman social order. By forcing respected citizens to participate, he broke their spirits completely. The emperor would arrange special seating so that husbands had clear views of their wives being forced to perform acts for his amusement. The imperial palace on the Palatine Hill underwent modifications. He commissioned special chambers designed specifically for his elaborate sexual fantasies. Caligula also established a brothel within the palace walls, staffed by the wives and daughters of senators who had fallen out of favor. Perhaps most shocking was how Caligula incorporated degradation into religious and political ceremonies. Traditional rituals were perverted into opportunities for humiliation. Caligula claimed divine status and demanded rituals include sexual acts in his honor. Priestesses were forced to engage in public intercourse. B40 Caligulas excesses were unimaginable. His announcement of making his practices the official religion was the breaking point. On January 24th, 41 CE, Caligula was assassinated by the Praetorian Guard. The new emperor, Claudius, faced the task of dealing with the aftermath. The physical evidence of the crimes was extensive. Rooms were sealed or renovated as the new administration tried to erase the memory. This conspiracy of silence meant that the full extent of Caligula's sexual crimes may never be known. Many victims never received justice. Today, the ruins of the Palatine evoke grandeur, but beneath them lie the echoes of horrors. The stones whisper the victims' stories. If this story shook you, help us ensure that more people learn about what history often silences. Subscribe, share, and leave your reflections below.